Thanks for joining us today. So I'm very excited to introduce a course, Machine Learning Zoomcamp. This is the first time I'm doing a course, and I know it's going to be awesome. And let's start with a few words about me. So my name is Alexei. I used to be a software engineer. 8 years ago, I decided to switch to data science. I did some courses on Coursera everywhere I could find. Then I did a master's. I spent 2 years doing master's. And then I eventually started working as a data scientist. And and I've worked as a data scientist for last 6 years, I think. So now I work as a principal data scientist at Helix Group. So this is a company, it's an online marketplace. And I want to share with you everything I learned about data science, machine learning, especially during my transition. So my transition wasn't easy for me, going from software engineering to data science. And I found out when doing this that I learn by doing projects. And that's why the focus of this course is by doing projects. And I'll tell a bit more about that. Yeah, so we'll mostly work it will be hands-on. So there is some theory, there is some mathematics, but I try to be as hands-on as possible. So we will work through all this project together. It will be live coding, or not live coding, it's pre-recorded coding, but I'll try to explain everything with code, because at least for me, for somebody coming from software engineering background, this is the best way to understand how things work, is to be able to code them and to use them. And actually, this is a screenshot from a video that wasn't published yet. So this is from session 2, when we implement linear regression ourselves. So we will not implement other algorithms, just linear regression. But this is just to show how we will do. So most of the courses, most of the lessons will look like that. This course is based on a book I wrote called Machine Learning Bootcamp. And yes, so it's very similar to what I just talked about. So it's a project-based book. And we first come up with a project and then solve this project together. So this course is based on the book, but you do not need to have a book to actually go through this course. So a book is nice to have, and I will not mention the book many times. So during the course, I will not say, hey, you need to look up it in the book. I will avoid doing that, and the course is self-contained. You don't need anything else, just the materials in the course. I'm not doing this alone. I have 2 amazing people are helping me, Dmitry and Wendy. They are teaching assistants. So you will see them, they will help with homework, and you will see them in the chat answering questions. I received this question many times. Is this course for me? This course is for you if you already know how to program, if you're comfortable programming in any language. So if this is the first programming experience for you, I don't think this course is for you. So you need to be able to code already. Then most of the material here will be, not most, all the materials here will be in Python. So you actually need to know Python to be able to go through the course. Python is at least the kind of Python we use. It's it's not as difficult to pick up compared to other languages. So the simple syntax like for loops or if statements, if you already have experience programming in other languages, for you, picking up Python should be relatively easy, and this will be sufficient for doing the course. So maybe doing something like a crash course on Python, and that should be sufficient to actually do the course. And then last thing, you should be comfortable with the command line, like executing different commands, like installing libraries, using terminal, all that. So without this, I think it will be quite difficult to go through the course, especially through the chapters when we talk about model deployment. What is not a requirement for this course is previous experience with machine learning. So you don't need machine learning to know anything about machine learning to take the course. So now I just want to take a look if there are questions. Yeah, there are too many things. Sorry, it's no way I can find any questions in live chat. But thanks everyone for joining. So there is a link in the description for the course GitHub page. So everything that we will. So first of all, this is actually the GitHub project GitHub repo for the book. So all the code from the book is there available for everyone to use. And there is a folder there called course Zoomcamp where I'll put all the course materials. So we already have the materials for the first session there for the introduction. So you can find the link in the description, and yeah, everything will be there. So this will be the main way of releasing materials. So all the videos, all the slides, all the code will be published to this repo. And don't forget to star this repo. And if everyone who is watching this course will go and star now, that will be awesome, because this way, this repo will be trending in GitHub. And then more and more people will find out about this. So let's talk about the course a bit. So for the course, the first session will be Introduction to Machine Learning. So the first unit. And these are the pictures that I have. We will not have a lot of math in the course. That's maybe one of the few formulas we have. And this is already from a video that I released from, I think, lesson 3 about supervised machine learning. So in this session, we will just introduce, it will be an introduction to machine learning with simple examples. We will also talk about the process, because machine learning doesn't live in isolation. There are other things that need to happen before and after for a successful machine learning project. We'll also talk about that. And we will talk a bit about matrix multiplication, because it's important for machine learning to understand how these things work. So we will talk about that in the first session as well. And yeah, we will talk also about pandas and NumPy if you haven't worked with them before. Then in the second session, we will talk about we will implement the car price prediction project. So basically, there are cars, and we want, based on different characteristics of these cars, like model, make, mileage, age, and so on, we want to predict the price of a car. So we will go through a project end to end, from first getting the data set and preparing it, and then implementing linear regression ourselves, and then validating it, and all these things. Then in the next session, we will talk about a different project. We will talk about binary classification problem, and we will talk about the churn prediction problem. And churn is, let's say we have a company and we have some clients, and some clients decide to leave, stop using the services of our company. In this particular project, we will use the data from a telecom operator. So they have some customers, and some of these customers might decide to stop the contract with the company. And we will build a model to identify those clients who are about to churn. And the idea here is if we can identify those clients, we can offer them some discounts and try to convince them to stay with the company. So that's a project we prepared for session 3. Then in session 4, we will talk about evaluating binary classification models. So models like churn prediction. It will be probably the most abstract session here, but this is a really important one, because being able to explain to others how your model is doing is quite important. So this is a very important session. Be sure to try to, maybe it will require multiple goals, and yeah, but this is an important one to understand. Then after that, in the next session, we will talk about model deployment. And the reason we talk about model deployment is pretty early in the course is because it's a very important topic. So if we don't cover, if we don't make our model available for others to use, our model is useless. That's why I think it's very important to know how to do these things as early as possible. And this is one of the most important things in applied data science, is actually let others use your model. Because if your model lives in a Jupyter notebook, it's not useful at all. So we'll talk about this as well in session 5. And then in session 6, we will talk about a different case for binary classification. It will be about credit risk. Let's say somebody wants to take a loan in a bank, and then we as a bank will want to assess whether the person who is trying to get a loan is going to be able to pay the loan back or not. So we will use, there is some data for that, for credit risk scoring, and we will use tree-based models for that, like decision tree, random forest, XGBoost, and so on. Then after that, we will do a project. So this will be a midterm project where we will talk about, you will need to implement actually something similar to what we studied. So you will need to find a data set, or even better, get the data set that you have, and then go through all these steps. You need to do some data preparation, data exploration, then do the train validation test split, find the best model, tune the parameters, and basically do everything as we learn, but now by yourself. After that, we will start covering more advanced topics. So we will talk about neural nets and deep learning, and we will build a model for identifying the types of clothes on images. So let's say if you have an image of a t-shirt, the model will tell you a t-shirt, and we will have 10 different classes of clothes. And yeah, so we will build a image classification model using TensorFlow and Keras for that. And once we do this in the next session, we will learn how to deploy this model. So we will use AWS Lambda, serverless approach. We will use that to get the model we trained previously and make it available for others to use. And last 3 sessions, they're very deployment oriented. So they are about deployment. So in session 10, we will talk about Kubernetes. And Kubernetes is probably the standard way now of managing containers. And if you don't know what containers are, we will tell you. And so this is basically, if you start working as a machine learning engineer, it's very likely that at your job, you will need to be able to deploy your models with Kubernetes. That's why we cover Kubernetes. We will not go into details. I don't know Kubernetes that well. I know it only as a user, like how to use it to create services. And this is what we will cover. So this will be only like the simplest possible way of using Kubernetes, which is already quite complex, if you ask me, but we will learn how to do that. And then last, we'll talk about Kubeflow, which is a thing on top of Kubernetes that is that makes model deployment easier. And we will talk about that. It will be the last lecture, the last session. And then after that, we will have a capstone project, basically the same as midterm project, but now you can also do deep learning. But the idea there is the same. So you do something end to end. And then another thing is article. So in parallel with project or after working a project, you can also try to explore a topic that wasn't covered in the course and write an article about that. So let's say we cover TensorFlow and Keras, but let's say you want to learn about PyTorch. So you can write an article about doing the same thing, but in PyTorch. Or let's say we use Flask, but you want to use FastAPI. So how to convert the code that we wrote in Flask to FastAPI. Can be pretty much everything. So, or let's say we don't cover NLP and you want to write an article about doing simple text classification. So here it will be up to you to come up with an idea and then write an article about that. And that will be the last thing. So when it comes to the course, how it's organized, so the first session that we have now is on YouTube, but for other sessions, they will happen in Zoom. Now, it also will depend on the number of people who actually will attend the Zoom sessions, because the Zoom plan I have allows only up to 100 people. We will figure it out, but I don't know how many people will actually need the other Zoom sessions, because everything will be recorded. The homework will be provided, released in advance. And we will use the time on Mondays only for going through the homework and then asking questions. And then you can also ask these questions in advance. Or of course, you can basically think of these slots on Monday as office hours. So if you have some questions and you want to ask these questions, so this is the time you come. So first we'll work through the homework and then answer questions. And then also after the course, after completing the course, you will be able to get a certificate. For that, what you need to do is complete 2 projects. So all other things, they are not required for a certificate. So if all you need is a certificate, you can just do 2 projects and get it. And that means also you can join the course at any time. So like, let's say if somebody wants to join the course in October, because they already know the basics of machine learning, that's totally fine. So you can join at any course and do at any time and do it when it's convenient for you. But to actually, so because I mentioned here that to get a certificate, you need to complete only 2 projects. But to motivate you to do other sessions as well, to do homeworks for everything and take part in other activities, we have this concept of a leaderboard. So every time you answer a question in the homework correctly, you have 1 point, you get 1 point. Then when you do a project successfully, you get up to 15 points. For writing an article, you get 20 points. So basically, we will have a list of people, ranked list. It will be like a leaderboard. And then at the end of the course, we will publish the top 100 participants in the course GitHub. So if you want to get to be in those 100 participants published in the course GitHub repo, so you need to do all the homework. So that's the extra motivation. And yeah, so for the homework, what you need is you make sure that the email you enter in your homework is exactly the same everywhere. Otherwise, we will not be able to match, to calculate points and to match that and to see how much you did, and then for the leaderboard stuff as well. So basically, make sure that you use the same email across all the forms. And ideally, this should be the same email you used for signing up for the course in this Airtable form. Yeah, so make sure it's the same one. And this is, by the way, a screenshot from the first homework. So in the homework, you will need to do a task, and then let's say a task asks, here is a data set, what is the average price of BMW? And then you need to compute that and select the one that that matches. Okay. And then don't forget to put your code there as well. So if you don't put your code, there will be no points. So release the code. Also put it somewhere on GitHub, Bitbucket, GitLab, whatever you like. Just make sure that it's there and include the link. So adding your code is important. And yeah, I already had a question about that in the Slack channel, Learning in Public. So learning in public is a great concept. So basically you go out there and you say, I'm learning this thing, and you share your progress as you learn. So let's say you enroll now in this course, you start taking it, and you can, let's say, every day or every week document what you do. And I have an example from Thinam. So this is a really great example, and I really admire him. So he's been doing this for 251 days. I think now it's like 200, like he almost did it for 300 days. So every day he's sharing his progress. So he's sharing what he learned, and then he adds a link either to his notebook somewhere, like on GitHub, basically some code. And then people follow his journey and then ask questions and basically, yeah, so he's just telling everyone what he's doing. And I encourage everyone to do the same. So you can share your progress. So we have a learning challenges channel in Slack. You can share your progress there. You can share your progress in LinkedIn. You can share your progress in Twitter. You can share, I don't know if you use Facebook or TikTok, or I don't know, like maybe you can write a Medium article. But I highly encourage you to do this. And especially if you're doing this because you want to, let's say, switch your job. So because you're working now as I don't know, let's say you want to work as a machine learning engineer. So sharing progress on social media is a good way to let everyone know that you exist and you are now going through this course, and then you will at some point look for a job. So please do that. And to encourage you to do this, I included a special field in the homework, learning in public links. So for every link you put there, you will get 1 extra point. So let's say if you share your progress for 7 days on LinkedIn, then you put 7 links there, and then you will get 7 points, right? If you do it once, yeah, not everyone wants to share their progress every day. I know it's difficult. Well, then you'll get 1 point, but it's still cool. Then if you go to the course repo, GitHub repo, you notice that there is a section with notes, right? I also encourage you to write notes for everything. Let's say you're watching a lecture, you're taking some notes. I encourage you to convert these notes to Notion, publish it as a Medium article, put it in your GitHub somewhere, and then create a pull request. Then I will accept this pull request, and your notes, a link to your notes will go to the GitHub repo. And this way you will help others. And what we can also do is actually for each video, for each lesson, we can maybe at the end compile it. Instead of having a bunch of links, we can just put the actual notes in the page in the repo. Then for communicating, I use emails. So there are 2 ways, so Slack and emails. And yeah, so for emails, because I use MailChimp for sending emails, they usually end up in the promotion tab. So I will send maybe 1 email per week, if not maybe less often. But yeah, if you want to make sure that you receive these emails in your primary tab, you can just drag and drop this to your primary tab, and this way you will not miss these emails in other promotional emails. But because I use this software, MailChimp, that's why always all the things I write, they end up in promotions. And of course, join the ML course ML Zoomcamp in Slack, and you will get the same notifications. Then we also have a calendar, and this is you see this mail that I sent yesterday, and you will also find the link in the GitHub repo to a public calendar. So all the activities, and this will be mostly the sessions, live sessions on Monday, they will be on that calendar. So if you like calendars more, just find the link to this calendar and subscribe it. I have to say that it only works from desktop, so it will not, if you try to click on this link from mobile, it will open your calendar app and it will do anything. It will not do anything. So you need to make sure that you're doing this from your desktop, and then you will be able to subscribe to the calendar. Okay, then let's talk about our DataTalksClub Slack. So it's so there is a special channel called Course ML Zoomcamp, where we will you can ask questions. I will put updates. So let's say today, this is the link that unfortunately didn't work. I don't know why Zoom didn't like me, but yeah, so everything that is important I will put there, and you can also ask your questions there. And yeah, so please don't use other channels like general for asking questions about the course. So there is a special channel for that. Go there, and maybe I'll do a quick demo of so let me just show you what we have in DataTalks Club. DataTalks, okay. So for those who are not yet in Slack, you can actually find the link to join it in the description. Oh, yeah. So basically here, like this is the, for those who are taking the course, this is the most important channel, Course ML Zoomcamp. And so, as I said, I will post all the announcement here. Then that's not the only thing we have here in this Slack. So yeah, welcome is where all of you say hi. So hi, everyone. And then we have like these are default channels, and there are more channels than just these default. So if you want to join an existing channel, so just click on this plus thing and then browse channels, and then you will see all the different channels we have. So for example, so this channel, data science, that we use for discussing data science related things, or for example, this channel, there is channel engineering for engineering related things. And yeah, and one cool one that all of you will probably like is this book of the week. So we invite book authors, and you can ask them any question you want, mostly about the book or the domain of their expertise. And then at the end, on Friday, at the end of each week, you can also get the chance to win their book. So this is really cool channel. I do recommend checking it out. And I think that's it when it comes to Slack. Yeah, so let me go back. Yeah, so there are a few things how you should use Slack. So there is a page called Slack guidelines. So first, I mentioned already, please use the course channel for course questions. So don't go to general, and because the Slack we have is not just for the course. There are many other things. So please use the channel for that. Then please use threads. So it helps to keep the discussion more organized. So let's say if you see somebody asks a question, reply to this question in a thread. And last thing is, please don't put the same message, don't post the same message in multiple channels. So you need to think, what is the best channel for asking this question, and then post it there only once. So please don't cross post. Many people, they are in multiple channels, and for them, this will be annoying to see the same message in multiple channels. And then, of course, please check the guidelines. There are a lot more things that you should know to help to keep our discussion in Slack more organized. So we're almost wrapping up. So I wanted to share some stats about people who registered, and it's mind-blowing to know that there are actually 600 registrations. So there are 6,000 people registered for the course. Yeah, so most of the people who registered are students coming from STEM background. So I assume, so the reason I did separation between STEM and non-STEM is I assume that students in STEM, they learn how to program. So for them, the course, it will be easier to take course. For students who are not STEM, I hope you already have some experience with programming, because if you don't, it will be a bit difficult. And then we have quite a lot of software engineers, and it's also interesting to me to see that there are quite a few data scientists and ML engineers. So these are people who already know about the things we are going to talk, and it's really amazing to see that some of them also decided to join. So if you hear anything that doesn't make sense, please tell me. I hope there will be no such thing, but maybe there is something you disagree, and yeah, let's have a discussion about that. And yeah, so one last thing is right now in Twitter. So if I go to Twitter.com, this is my handle there, Al_Grigor. And right now there is a yeah, if you want to get the chance to win a copy of the book, so you can go there and retweet it. Unfortunately, the link is wrong. That's too bad. But yeah, so you can go there, you can retweet this tweet, and in 3 days, you will get a chance. Some of you, somebody who gets lucky will get a chance to win the book. Okay. So I think that's it. So I promise not to advertise the book too much, so I will not, but every video that I will release will have a link to the book. So if you're interested in buying it, you can. And as I said, again, it's not a requirement. The course is self-contained. You don't need any book for passing it. All you need is a laptop, internet connection, and time. So if you have that, it's sufficient to do well on the course. So now, yeah, if you have any questions, let's please ask them. So let me go to Slido. So I will stop sharing my screen for a moment and then check if there are questions in Slido. So this link should be pinned. Yes, I see that there is a pinned link in the description. So you can go there, click on this link, and ask a question. So now let me share my screen again so you can see the questions I'm answering. Okay, so which specific command lines do we need to know? Well, yeah, Git is the obvious one, but then it's more about not knowing a command, but not being afraid to open a terminal and execute a command there. And perhaps also it will not hurt to know what the command is doing. So usually it's simple things like wget for downloading files, or git for getting code, or let's say using pip for installing libraries, or let's say in chapter 5 we use in session 5, sorry, we use Docker for deployment. So there we need to have a command line to be able to use a command line. For example, if you don't have Docker, you need to install it and then run it, and yeah, so things like this. So I think the requirement here is not knowing specific commands, but just knowing how to open terminal and how to type there, and what to do if what you type doesn't work, right? So where to look up things. And of course, feel free to ask questions in the course channel in Slack. But yeah, I imagine that people who already work as developers, for example, or data scientists, for them it's probably easier. For students who are not from STEM, this is probably difficult. So yeah, I know it will take some time. Just be patient and ask for help. What mathematical knowledge is required for the course? So the way I try to do the course is not to expect any knowledge of math for people who want to take it. So let's say if you studied in college 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and forgot all the math, that's even better. So you already know that, you know, if you hear matrix multiplication, you have a slight idea what it is, even though maybe you don't remember what exactly it's doing. But yeah, but in general, I think the requirement here is not to know math, but to be not afraid of seeing a formula. And I will try to, when there are formulas, what I will do is I will try to break this formula down into code and then explain the formula with code. And this way, when you see how a formula translates to a code, then the formula becomes less scary. So in general, you don't need to know math. I think some prior exposure to math will be helpful, but I don't think it's required. Will we work on own projects in group, or there will be 6,000 single projects? Well, ideally, I haven't thought actually about group projects. Maybe it's a good idea, but I think the way I have it in mind is these will be individual projects. Perhaps if you have an idea of a bigger project that you want to make a group in a group. Let's discuss. But ideally, I think the way I think about these projects is they're relatively small, so it should be like basically for one person. It's probably better than doing it with a group of 2 or 3 people, because in this case, I don't know how you are going to split the work and then how to create it. Yeah, like should everyone get 15 points, or and then if people just form one gigantic group, and then does everyone get points? I think it becomes difficult. So probably it's easier if just everyone does a individual project. Can we ask for feedback for our projects? Yes. So the way I think about this is there will be some feedback, and also I want to do peer feedback. So because it's just 3 people who are the team for the course, and if there are, I don't know, 300 submissions, it will be just too difficult for us to give feedback for everyone. So the way I would like to approach it is to also let you review the work of others and see and basically score them. We will have guidelines for that, like what you need to look for. Let's say, like, has this person used cross-validation? Something like this, you will see later. And then, of course, I will also do that. I will also review projects. I'm not sure I will be able to review all of them, but I will review some of them and will also give feedback for them. And to be honest, I didn't expect such attention and so many people will register for the course. And I'm happy that it happened, but I'm also not sure how I'm going to handle all that when it comes to projects. Is 23 late to get started in this field? Of course, it's not late. It's just 23. Like in Germany, people start working on only at 30, so it's not late, of course. And it's never late. I mean, 30 is not late, 40 is not late, 50 is not late, 60 is not late. So whatever age you are at now, it's not late. Can we use Google Colab for the whole course? I think it's 2 duplicates. So let me just, yes, you can. I don't have experience using Colab, but I know some of the people who are taking part in the course, they have experience using Colab. So you definitely can. And I think there should be no problems. You can use Google Colab. In fact, there is actually, if we go to this Zoom repo, so let me just enlarge it a little bit. So there is this, for the first lesson intro, there is this unit environment 6. You see how you can use Kaggle and how you can use Colab for working through the code. So it wasn't added by me. It was actually it was a pull request from Nin Date. So he contributed that. So also feel free to open a pull request and contribute to the repo. So I don't have experience with that, but he had, and that's why he did this. And don't forget to star the repo. Okay, so what's next? Yeah, I'll think about this. Do you have a Patreon or donation link somewhere if we want to contribute? So I am trying to set a GitHub sponsorship, I'm trying to take part there. I don't know how it works, and it probably takes time to make it work. But if you want to help, what you can do is you can spread the word about the course. You can post a link to the course on your social media like Twitter, LinkedIn. You can tell your friends about this. That will help a lot. I'm already very excited to see a high number of people interested in that. And if you help to spread the word, it will be even better and I will be very happy. about this, and also invite people to our Slack community, DataTalksClub. This is an amazing place, and if you invite your friends there, I also will be very happy. Now, can you please talk about how you transitioned from software engineer to data scientist? Yeah, we have 10 minutes before we finish. I don't think I have time for that. I did a couple of podcasts about this, so maybe you can check them, or maybe just ask in Slack, and then I'll share the links there. But in general, so I was taking a lot of courses, and then at some point when I already started working, I tried Kaggle, and then on Kaggle I realized that all these courses were useless. Like all these books and courses I took at university were not helpful, because on Kaggle I couldn't just do anything. So it was super difficult for me. And this is when I really learned machine learning. So yeah, for me, it was a combination of doing courses. I was also I was freelancing a bit, but then I really got a jump start when I started Kaggle. And on Kaggle, I think the reason I learned a lot there was because I was doing a lot of hands-on work. And that's why the focus of this course is also hands-on work. So you will see how all these things are implemented. So it's not just you see a presentation, but you will be able to follow through all this, like through sort of a live coding session. And then I will also ask you to do the same on homework for a problem that is slightly different. So you get to do this as well. And this way, I think, is the best way to for software engineers to transition to data science, is to do things. So not get too deep in books and try to understand all these formulas and do derivations, but doing hands-on stuff. And this is what I learned on Kaggle. And yeah, just basically follow through the course, and I hope it will be super useful for you. Because when I was designing it, I was thinking about myself. So what would help me 8 years ago to make this transition? And that's why the course looks like it looks. And I hope it will be useful for you as well. Do I need to install AWS or Kubernetes? Well, first of all, you cannot install AWS, but you don't need to use AWS or Kubernetes. So AWS is, well, it's a cloud. You can use AWS, and some examples that I will show, they are based on AWS. And then Kubernetes, I will use a managed Kubernetes from AWS. But I will not ask you to do this. So for homework, you will not need to register on AWS. You will not need to rent a Kubernetes cluster somewhere. So for the homework, for example, will be to run something locally like a Docker container. If you want, you can deploy it on AWS or some other cloud providers like Heroku, Google Cloud, Azure. There are many of them, like Python Anywhere. If you do that, you will get some extra points, but this is not a must. So you don't have to register in AWS to go through the course. Although actually, on the other hand, I would recommend you to register on AWS, because AWS is the most popular cloud provider, at least from what I saw. And knowing how to use Kubernetes, how to use AWS will give you an edge when you, let's say, if you're transitioning to machine learning engineering or data science. Knowing how to use AWS will give you a competitive edge. Actually, there are, like, if you just register an account there, you will get a free tier. You can use some service there for free for 1 year. So the one caveat there is you'll need to put your credit card number. So it's up to you to decide if you want to do this or not. But I would recommend to do this and to learn AWS or some other cloud provider. So you can also learn Google Cloud. You can also learn Azure, and all these cloud providers, they have some trial options. So for example, Google gives you like $300 or $400 for free, and then you can do with this money whatever you want. I mean, within Google Cloud, of course, you can use this. You can use this money for whatever you want. Okay, Can I apply for junior data scientist job after completing the course? Yes, of course you can. And what else do you need to know? I think I covered the basics. So probably everything I would expect from a junior data scientist, I cover in the course. So it's there. If you do all these projects, if you write an article, and if you do this learning in public thing that I recommended, I think you will not have problems finding a job. So let's say if you start writing LinkedIn posts right now on this day, and then by the time the course finishes in end of December, you will have a lot of people who will follow you on social media, and then you can just say, okay, I finished the course, now I'm looking for a job, and then all of a sudden a lot of people will see that, and some of them might recommend you. And so this is how, if you do that, I don't think you will have problems finding a job. But if you don't do this, I think you'll also be fine, because the material, and if you do the homework, if you work through the projects, this material should be sufficient to get a junior data scientist or junior ML engineer job. Yeah, I think it's the same question, right? So let me skip it. Can we write the learning notes in our native language, non-English? Yeah, of course, why not? So just do that. And yeah, I think it's fine if you create pull requests that there also to add to the course repo. You just mention in the parentheses in which language it is for non-English notes. A master degree is currently unaffordable to me. Can I take the self-learning path where I do courses and do quality projects? Yeah, this is what the course is about. So that's why you are here, I guess. So yeah, the course is great and it's a good start. So with the information from the course, you will be able to also do more advanced things like NLP, natural language processing, or ranking, or like many other things. So start with that course, and I will think you will figure out by the time you finish it what you want to do next. Where do we submit our homework? So here, like this is the course repo, and for each session there is this homework MD file, which tells you how to submit your homework. And so there are some questions that you need to answer, and then at the end there is a link to the Google Forms. Then you just click on this link, you fill it in. Also, I add a couple of questions here asking what did you use. So for example, if you use your computer that is physically in that you have it, so you can use that. Or let's say if you use Google Colab, you can just write here Colab, or I don't know, it's 1 or 2L. And then also please give me some feedback, like how many times you spend watching the lectures, how many time you spend on homework, because I do not know how much time people should put in this. So I estimate like 3-5 hours, but I'm also curious to see how my estimations are, like if they are right or not. Sessions are going to be recorded. Where are the recordings are going to be shared? Yeah, so this thing. So right now, if you go here, so everything will be in this repo. So let's say the very first lesson. So there is video and slides, and if you just click on video, you will see the video. So right now it's on Google Drive. I will put this. So let me just mute. So I will put this to YouTube as well, but you will find everything you need. You will find everything you need in this repo. Let me go back. Oops, I think I just can't. I don't know, where did it go? Sorry, I think I accidentally closed one question that I wasn't able to see what there. Okay, where can I find the course materials? I just can see introduction to machine. Yeah, so this the other lessons, I am still recording them as we speak. So you don't see here because I rebooted my computer, but here was a window for editing. So this is something I started doing yesterday. So I'm editing the videos and releasing them. So now when we finish this call, I'll go home, spend some time with my family, and then even in the evening, I will finish editing the courses. And like I'm working now on the content for session 2. So, and as soon as I finish, I will upload some of them. So it's work in progress. That's why you don't see everything. You only see actually the first one, because that's the only one that is basically recorded by now. Do we have to implement end-to-end application for mini projects? Yeah, yes, you do. Well, end-to-end is also like it can be a different type of end-to-end. So here I'm not asking to find data set, to come up with a data set yourself. If you do that, that would be awesome. So I'm not asking you to scrape a data set. If you do that, that will be awesome. But here, yeah, basically starting from a moment where you have data till deployment, this is what you need to do. And of course, if you add on top of that data collection, like scraping data from somewhere, that will be even better. How do you recommend reading ML book? Currently, I saw a book club along the Zoomcamp. Well, I don't know. It you know, it all depends on your availability, on your time. So if you have a lot of time, you can read. No, you can do both. You can do the course. You can read the book. Yeah. So just yeah, I don't know how to answer that question, to be honest. So like, how do I recommend reading books? Open and read it, I guess. Yeah, but I think it's possible. Like if you're a student now and you don't work and you have time, then you can take a course and read a book at the same time. Why not? By knowing how to program in Python, is there anything that is required to know beyond loops and class-oriented programming? So let me show you. So in this repo, so there is this appendix B Python that gives you a quick introduction to Python. So if you can make sense of everything here, so if you know what is going on here, then you're good to go for the course, right? If not, then I suggest you to revise it, to understand it, and then there is also an article that explains. Yeah, so here where's appendix B, Introduction to Python. So you see that there is an article called Introduction to Python. You can just open it, and it will be like it will explain you what these things mean. Yeah, so if you work through this this article, I think it will give you sufficient background to actually to be able to do the course. Yes, somebody asked what was Appendix A. So that is from the book, right? So you see, like this is the repo, GitHub repo from the book, and then there is a folder for course Zoomcamp. So you saw the appendix from the book, and the appendix was about setting up the environment, which is basically you have a link here in the course folder as well, which is this environment. So you have all the information you need here. So you don't need to worry about appendices. So what's your motivation offering all this for free? Yeah, that's an interesting question. A lot of people ask me about that. Well, why not? So I saw a lot of nice courses offered for free. And then I thought I also can contribute to that. And yeah, that's one of the motivations. And it's a difficult question, yeah, to be honest. So yeah, I don't know, maybe internal glory, place in Valhalla. I don't know. So I can only see today's event in the public calendar. Is it a problem? It's not a problem. So I only added one. I haven't added the second one. So it will be, I will add an event for Monday sometime during this week, and it will contain a link to Zoom, I think. Yeah, so it's not a problem. Yeah, thank you. I'm very happy to hear, to see that. Will you talk about data cleaning? Yes, I will. So maybe not to the extent you will have to deal with data cleaning on a real job, but we will touch a bit about data cleaning as well. Yeah, so we will definitely cover that. We will learn about scikit-learn pipeline to keep the code cleaner. It's not a part of the course. So in the course, we do not cover scikit-learn pipelines. However, you can use this in your projects. You can write an article about this. And I don't see a problem if you use scikit-learn pipelines. So if you want to learn it yourself, you just go to Google or whatever your favorite search engine, and you write scikit-learn pipelines, and you translate the code you have in the course to scikit-learn pipelines. So, and if you need help with that, you can ask again in the in Slack, and people will help you. But no, I do not cover this in the course. Okay, I'll just cover two last questions because we need to be wrapping up. So, is there any minimum specification for the device? I don't know. Like, I think you'll be fine with I don't know, 8 gigabytes of RAM. 16 will be better. But again, you can use cloud. So Google Colab, Kaggle, they are free. So as long as your computer has a screen and a keyboard and access to the internet, I think you should be fine, because you have all these cloud providers, and then also you can rent the computer for free in AWS. Even though it will be not a very good machine, the one is for free. But yeah, there are many options, even if your laptop has some limited capabilities, then there are always ways to rent a computer elsewhere. Okay, so I'll take it as the last one for the day. And sorry if I didn't cover your question. You can also ask that in the Slack. So what are the differences between project 1 and project 2? There are not so many differences, except that it's just different projects. So basically, both projects ask to implement the thing end to end, like from like the moment where you have a data prepared to the moment you deploy it. It's just by the time you do project 2, you also know about deep learning. And let's say if you want to do a project 2 about deep learning, then you already have sufficient background for doing this. While in project 1, we don't cover deep learning yet. And yeah, probably you can focus on more traditional things. But apart from that, like, you don't have to use deep learning for project 2. If you want to use deep learning for project 1, by all means. So there are no differences, except that it's just two different projects. So I will stop sharing my screen. Thanks everyone for attending the call today, for asking questions. I'm really excited to see such interest in the course. Thanks a lot for doing that, and yeah, see you soon. So goodbye, everyone.